Imagine for a moment, cold. And no, not cold like a winter's breeze or a chilly night, like fingertips on fire, like fangs in your throat. A warmth that true explorers know is the last thing a human will ever feel. That's what it's like when you reach the only port in Antarctica. A cold unimaginable. You knew it would be cold. What else would an Antarctic research center be but cold? Still, when your boat docks and the captain leads you off, you bundle in your heat tech. It shouldn't be this cold. They brief you as you travel down the packed ice roads on the special-made rover. The captain tells you of their routine surveys on the ice caps. You ask him why you've been called out here. Ask him why the briefing was so vague. He tells you that they saw something in the melting glacier, larger than anything they had seen before. And he tells you that there's something else, something that even the engineers could not explain. And so they brought you, the translator. You ask him what, but the captain turns away, leaves you in waiting as the rover drives on. And as he's driving, you see it. The land. The land in the Antarctic center is supposed to be flat and packed snow for miles with lakes in between. So why does the ice beneath your feet feel slanted, like you're traveling down instead of forwards? You shake it off. That's alright. You'll find out soon enough. But it's still strange. The crew members on the rover, the survey team stationed here, they all seem quiet, dry, not speaking to each other or even taking in the view. The engineers, the scientists, the volunteers, their heads are all lowered down, all looking towards the ice beneath your feet. And you have so many questions, but you bury them. You're here to translate, and that's all you'll do. But why would you even need a translator in Antarctica? What sort of artifact or item could possibly require someone with your level of study? Just what did they discover? Why would SRP and Antos, all these government organizations, why would they send you? And so you drive and drive and drive, and the rover halts, and your gaze is frozen, because in front of you is the most colossal mass of ice you have ever seen in your entire life. A glacier like a mountain rests in the center of a large valley, surrounded by research infrastructure and buildings. But that's not why you gasp and clutch your mouth. You clutch your mouth because it's floating. The captain briefs you when you reach the main command tent. Well, command tent is an overstatement. The recent and drastic decrease in temperature patterns has torn away at most of the outer infrastructure. Some parts are hanging and broken, others welded over. The captain tells you they've asked SRP for more engineers, but they haven't heard back. He leads you to the table, and you sit down among the scientists and the researchers called to the Antarctic Center, sharing glances with a few of them and nodding. You've studied your whole life for this. Learned Portuguese, Spanish, Latin, Old English, Demotic, hieroglyphs, all for this. A chance to publish something people will read, about a discovery using your own translations. That's why you took this job so quickly. That's why you accepted and waived all the other safety contracts that would have taken far too long. You need this to cement your place as the greatest translator in the world. Gather around, the captain calls out. It's time to learn about why you're here. A map is rolled in on wheels. Strange. They're funded by the height of the government and they're using outdated tech. You make note as the captain goes on. She started floating exactly 2 years ago. She? You call out and the captain turns to you. He's irritated already, and it's clear you're not his favorite. You scoff. Who cares what he thinks? You're here to work, and so you ask him. The room is silent. The captain rolls his eyes. Well, it started floating 2 years ago, and it was named after the person who discovered it. The captain looks directly at you. The translator before you, he says. The woman that you replaced. A young girl named Cassandra. We named it after her. The room is quiet. What happened to her? The tall engineer calls out near the back. You spot the name tag on his chest. Patrick. The captain eyes him before he answers. You're not cleared for that information. The government told me I would be allowed to do as I please, you call out. Yes. In translation, you're free. Matters of defense are another matter entirely. Matters of defense, Patrick calls out. What's going on here? I was told this was routine. The captain nods and the window opens. We all take in the sight of that floating glacier in the distance. Does anything about that seem routine to you? Our silence is his answer. Prep your things, he calls out. Ask our people for anything you might need. They'll accommodate. Get your rest. You stand up, pushing the table away. But sir, you shout, what are we meant to be doing here? We're not mice. You can't just lead us blind without words and expect us to be silent. A red-haired scientist nods beside you. You spot her name tag. Natalia. The captain waves your words off. Tomorrow, you'll see for yourself. You think of escalating it, but you sit back down. You can't mess up this chance for a slight like that. It's time to write your name in the annals of history. It's time to translate. The captain steps slowly out of the room. And one more thing. All eyes turn to him, and he turns to the floating glacier through the window. We're all mice. Outside, the rages of the Antarctic night has dropped the temp so low your limbs would harden and crack if you were out there. But inside, like you are, you don't feel any of that. All you feel is tired. Because around you, the researchers are throwing a party. Cups and balloons fill the space. A strange sight in a facility so stoic and grey. But Patrick insisted. A sort of get-to-know-you party before the work actually begins. But you're beginning to hate Patrick. But you're here all the same. And so you watch them as they laugh and play and game among themselves. You've never been good with people, even knowing so many languages like you do. There's knowing words, and then there's using them. You're only good at one of those things. What are you thinking about? You look up to see Natalia, the red-headed scientist from the meeting. Nice to meet you, she says in Spanish. She nods and takes a seat. It's nice to see another person here with their head on their shoulders. Patrick walks up, drink in hand, and looks to Natalia. He extends drinks, one for him and one for Nat, and then he turns to you. You should tell her I say hello, he says, and you translate. And she replies, and you translate. You're a world-renowned linguist, and here you are playing translator for a school crush, but you translate for them, over and over. What do you think about Cassandra? He asks her after a while, and Natalia smiles. I'm not sure, I know what we're doing here. It's going to change the world. They laugh together, and you watch. They've forgotten you, using you like technology for their conversations. But you're not surprised. It doesn't matter. After tomorrow, there'll be no more of that. When you publish your work here, after you understand this strange glacier, you understand Cassandra, you'll never be ignored again. And after a while, you tell them that you're tired. You make your way to an upper floor where the balcony leads out to a hatchway where you can see the glacier in the distance. You watch the snow fall for a while there, counting the swaying snowflakes on the pressured glass. You need to focus. Tomorrow is the first day of the rest of your career. The day that you... that. In the distance, there's something moving in the distance. You cup your hands on the glass and peer through them. Looks like a person, but there's no gear, no heat tech. That can't be possible. It's blistering cold, scientifically in the death zone. No person would be able to survive in that temperature, much less walk in that. But you're certain, as you look closer and cup the glass, that is a person out there, and that person is naked, and that person is currently walking forward through the snow like it's a European summer. And then they stop, and they start to dance in the freezing cold. They lay in the snow and make angels and pour it over their head like a school child. A cold that should have frozen their limbs rigid and had their flesh blue. They should not be able to breathe, much less move. Yet there they are. You think to scream, panic, call it out for anyone to watch. But then they stand up and crawl like a child toward that floating glacier in the distance. All you can think is how. How is that skin still moving? How is that heart still beating? How is he walking forward? How is he leaping toward that glacier? And how did that naked man make a 20-foot jump, reach forward, and enter that solid ice glacier as if it was not ice at all, but a smooth water, running before his hands, like an entrance? Your mouth hangs open, your heart bangs, and you wake up. Your eyes shoot open in your bed. What are you doing? What just happened? You hurry to put on your things and rush out of the room, pushing past Patrick and a confused Nat to the captain in the command tent. You rush him and grab him. What's going on here, you ask him. What happened last night? Where did that man go? Man, he grips you off. Translator, get a hold of yourself. You won't trick me, Captain. I saw a man last night outside. What? What are you talking about? He replies. We have regular patrols. That was no patrol. Your eyes turn hard. They had no clothes on. That draws the ears around you. The captain furrows his brows. Translator, he says very slowly. Are you well? You nod. Very. Then you'd know that the temps outside this past cycle have been enough to freeze off a limb. I'm aware, you call out. And I know what I saw, Captain. I only need you to explain it. He nods to a man beside him. First, He whips him over. "Did you see anyone missing at roll call today?" "No," the man calls out. "All are accounted for. All are accounted for." The captain turns back to you. "And so you see, translator, I'll forgive this little thing you've done here. Just this once. I know more than most how the snow can change a person." He leans closer. "But you're gonna get a lot of people killed with the way you're talking." He waves you and the others forward. "Now come with me. It's time to see why you're here." And so you drive to it, all 5 of you. You drive all 4 miles from the research center to the tip where Cassandra is floating. And as the rover draws closer, the shadow of the glacier falls upon your crew. All are silent as you approach it. Even Patrick isn't smirking, and Natalia reaches out and grips your arms tightly. "I'm with you," she says in Spanish, and you nod at her. The rover stops and the crew takes out a simple mechanical ramp. Cassandra looms so large it devours all of you. If the glacier itself was not floating in front of you like a mountain, you'd think it was an eclipse. The captain stands and addresses you all. You're most likely wondering why we have brought you here. He leaves the rover and walks up to the glacier. When he reaches out and touches it, his hand disappears into the rock, like it lets him through. Jaws drop and gasps ring out. That's because it's not a glacier at all. "What is it?" you ask. Standing up and the captain turns. "Some kind of door." "And what's behind it?" Patrick asks. The captain points. "That's for you to tell me. But first, I need to inform you all of something. When we are in there, you must all do one thing. No one except the translator is allowed to look up. Everyone else must keep their eyes on the ground. No matter what you hear, no matter what you see, bow your head." Then the captain beckons you all forward, takes his place on the ramp, and leads you inside the glacier, inside Cassandra. There's a Greek goddess you remember from your first year in university. They called her Nyx, the goddess of night born from the void and darkness. Your professor had once told you that Nyx could surround the entire earth with a darkness so deep that you wouldn't feel like dark at all. Or perhaps that it was always dark. A night that could make you forget the light ever existed. Like you could not breathe, you could not think. Like you were not even alive. When the goddess swallowed you with her tenebrous arms, then came the true night, a night from which you could never return. That is what you feel when you take a step inside the floating glacier. A darkness so thick you feel like you could touch its layers, peel them back, only to find more of the same. You can tell you're in the air, because every step, you feel the ground moving and shifting beneath your feet. "Can you hear me?" you call out, and Nat replies, "I'm with you, translator. We're all with you." And you nod and keep going, holding her behind you and Patrick in front. They're all looking at the ground, like the captain said they should. All but you, the special, the chosen translator, because you're looking up. And that is when you stop and drop their hands, because in front of you is a sight your eyes can barely understand. White wings. 6 white wings covering each other and folded over themselves, hovering in the center of a pane of pure white ice. It's like they gave their own light, and out of them, 10 straight legs are walking out and limping forwards, as if the legs are holding up the wings, or something inside them. God in heaven, you call out, and the others ask what you're seeing. You pay them and their bowed heads no mind, because beneath the wings is the most complicated cipher you've ever seen in your life. You can tell it's a cipher at once. Any linguist worth their salt could do the same, but my word, it puts the Polybius and the Baconian ciphers to shame. You put it to memory at once, and watch the floating wings, folded over each other as if in prayer for a long while. Then you whisper to the others that you have what you need, and you lead them back out into the mainland. The rover ride back is quiet. They have questions, but you don't want to waste your brain answering. Not when you have so much going on. Switching, changing, translating. The cipher is at work in your head, and when the wheels start turning, there's no stopping them. But you wonder, in the back of your mind, why the captain only wanted you to see it, and why they had to bow. Everyone but you, turning their eyes down to the snow. But no matter, that cipher, that will take you to the heights of academia, that will take you to success, that will But you next Einstein and Tesla, and so you start your work. Night falls, and you stretch your brain to its maximum. You can't use any technology near Cassandra, not really, and so you resort to how they did it in the old days. Grit and ink. You commandeer the main command unit in every whiteboard in the room. Patrick and Nat knock on your door, but you shoo them away. You're in too far for distractions. You call upon everything you've learned in your studies. The syntax, the form, the pattern, your knowledge of science and numericals, but it's not simply science. The cipher is strange, it's like it's written in some kind of poetry. There's a rhythm to the letters that reminds you of the old poems of Mesopotamia, and so you call upon it all. Sophocles, Aeschylus, Ezekiel the tragedian, all the old and mythic works of poetry so your brain can breathe the rhythm. The questions start then. Why did it have wings? What were those legs? What happened last night? You solve, you calculate, you subtract, you add, and then you let go. Abandon the preconceived. It's time to make your own rules. 4 means nothing, function even less. The doubles, the repeats, they're wind in comparison to the whole. Don't look for fragments, look for the whole. Don't calculate, dance. Language is not a hard and binding prison, it's a playground. Words are no cage or irons, they are a ballroom. You've known this all your life, but only now does it feel so right. And so dance, twirl, twist and play. What is this state? This moment you're feeling? You can't describe it, the wind is raging outside, cold and ending, but it's like the memorization, the study, the late nights and final exams. They mold into an understanding. No, not simply understanding. Genuine wisdom. It's like you could pull any text, any exam, any reading you've ever done, and it would come like a willful servant. Like you're swimming. The notion of words and language and meaning. The fibers in between. This must have been how the ancients felt. Sophocles on his lectern, Tesla in his lab. You've hit such a level that you can't. Your pen cracks and you take a step back. And you whisper the words in front of you. Latin was the closest you could get it. Omnes homines, arcum debent. All men must bow. The door knocks and you don't know why, but you scrub the board. You scrub the translation so whoever walks in can't see it. Then out comes the captain, holding a meal in his hands. You should eat, he calls out and hands it to you, looking up at your empty board. It's slow going, I take it, he calls out, and you nod. I'll need a while. He sighs and closes the door behind you, and you stare at the food for a while, before you throw it away and go back to the cipher. There's no room for distractions. All men must bow. What could this mean? What sort of... Then you see it. Out near a paned window. A figure in the darkness. One you recognize. Patrick. Dancing in the snow like a playchild. Perfectly well in the cold that should by all means be his end. Making angels in the night. And leaping toward that distant glacier. You look back to the words. All men must bow. You wake up, push past the doors and swing open new ones. Where is he, you ask? Where is Patrick? The captain looks at you like you've grown a head. Translator, calm down. I won't calm down, you answer. Not anymore. I know what I saw. I know. He's right here. He's right here. You turn, and then you see him. That smirking engineer. Just like usual, he's there. You must have fell asleep working that, dreamed it like the others. There's no way. You take a breath, and Patrick smiles. Then he walks up, holds out his hand. Are you alright, Greta? How are you doing? Then your mouth drops. He just calls you by her name, not translator. But before you can react, the captain sweeps you all away into the rover for another journey into Cassandra. You walk inside with the bowed engineers, walking faster and harder than usual. Sweat beads off your brow, your heart is beating, and there it is, the strange winged creature in white that only you can see, that only you are allowed to see, and the words beneath, different words this time, in the same cipher. You parse through it like butter, and the words beneath, all men must give. And you shiver, because the words are changing. I see you, in English, Chinese, German. I know you understand me. I know, and you don't panic. You stay absolutely still. Whatever is happening, whatever it is, this thing thinks that you understand the words. Something tells you that you shouldn't be able to understand the words. And so you stay absolutely still. You cup your chin like you don't understand what you're looking at. And behind you, you feel eyes watching you. But not any creature's eyes, the captain's. And in the rover, everyone keeps their head bowed, not bothering to pick it back up. That night, you scrub away at every piece of evidence that you have that you solved the cipher. All the boards, the scratches on paper, the scribbles in your notes. You shred them, toss them, hide them. Something is telling you that understanding will end in fear. So you forget. You wipe, and you scrub the last journal before you look out the window and see a host of naked scientists walking towards the glacier, and they don't feel cold, they don't feel the wind. They are as children, divine, angels, and something is wrong. You know it in your bones, damn it all, you kiss your teeth, you're not dreaming, you have to go. No discovery is worth this, nothing could be, the door knocks. Who could it be at this hour? Then you realize it, of course, it's the captain, that annoying prick, he's ready to barge in. Patrick opens the door. You back away. Not because it's him, but because the door was locked. Military grade lock. He smiles at you, looks directly at you. You steady your voice. How are you? He turns to the window, and you see Natalia there dancing in the snow with the other crew members, and Patrick shakes his head and holds out his hands. And the door swings open. The captain reaches out with a heavy shotgun in his hands and blasts Patrick's head clean off. You scream and shuffle away, but the captain just glares at the corpse. I told them not to look, he sighs. I told them all. And you eye him. What did you just say? They always look, the captain goes on, every one of them. They all look at her. What are you talking about, you call out? At the glacier? I thought you said that everyone should bow but me. No, he calls out, I told everyone there to bow. But everyone hears me different. It's the glacier. It's changing the words. Everyone hears it. Like they're the ones who are chosen, like they're the ones who are allowed to look. But in reality, you were all standing, all looking up. It's an evil thing we found here, translator. Or perhaps it discovered us. And of course, everyone wants to look already. It preys on our curiosity. So when we hear that we're special, that we're allowed to look, we gaze up at the wings. We look at it. We see what none are allowed to. Why am I different? Why am I not changed? Because you can understand, he calls out. You're a linguist at the highest level. You breathe language. All those who can understand can see. What does that mean? You don't want to know. You don't get to decide that, the captain sighs. You sprint up at him, grab him by the scruff of his neck. Patrick's brains are on my floor. I deserve to know. He glares at you, and then he puts down the gun. All I know is this. We don't know what it is. It wants to be perceived, to be looked at, but only if it's understood. Those who don't understand, well, he looks down at Patrick. And those who do, you ask him? He sighs, they have to stay. And then you look to him, peering closer. You understand it, don't you? I did Latin and Greek for most of my life. I never thought it would save my life like this, though. And the crew, you ask, what about the others? Translator, we are alone here, and will be alone for quite some time. His voice breaks. It needs people to understand its words and look upon its face. Every day, it's like a pet. It moves, it expands. I wasn't even supposed to be stationed in Antarctica. I was just here with my family. It was my daughter, she's the linguist, really. She was the first one to understand it. She taught me. Cassandra, you whisper. He nods. It was me and Cass for a while, holding it back, telling the others that they need to leave. They need to get out of here and never come back. But they all hear what it wants them to. I tell them all not to look. In fact, I told you when you docked to turn around and go back to where you came. But of course you heard welcome. One by one, you all look. You all hear that you're chosen, brought here to be special, and only you can solve this riddle and mark your name in the history books. And you mark the walls to your own prison. And come the night, you go as children, unclothed, into the womb, into Cassandra. He turns to the window, and they never come back. Not really, anyway. I have to pretend I don't know that they're different when they come, that I don't know that they're changed. It's the only way that they let me live. Well, let us live now. I have to maintain appearances for it. You breathe out. This whole time, he replies. This has been a prison. He nods slowly. You call out, you knew this when you invited me. And still you brought me here. If it helps, I've been here 2 years. And if we try to leave, the crew, the others, they'll intervene. From the moment you left the ship, he replies, you were hers. That's why they were bowing, you realize. And you look to the window. It's a glacier. So what do we do? Wait to die, I suppose. There's no leaving. not without her knowing. She'll send them all back before long to keep us company. And you sit beside him as your mind races. Cassandra, all she wants is to be understood. This glacier, isn't it like you in a way? People always calling you strange names, looking at you, and not truly understanding, using you for success or glory, but not truly caring. All it wants, really, is a conversation. Why else would it even be letting us have this conversation? Then you stand up, you pick up your pen, and then you get writing. The captain sits up then, looks to your work. What are you doing, he asks you. But you shush him quiet as you continue. It's swift when you know a cipher by heart, the words come like breath. I see you. And when the sun rises, you set out, with the captain beside you. No heads bowed, no silence. You hold out your writing and march on, and the words wave in the wind. Speak with me. The story continues on Patreon, where I post audio-only stories, updates, and all things related to my writing. Check it out for my scripts, or to simply support the channel so I can make more videos more frequently and at a higher quality. I'd really appreciate it if you liked, subscribe, and comment on the video. And again, thank you.